Once you make these taco wontons, people are going to ask you to make it on repeat. First, you're going to start with some vegetable oil, and you want to brown about 1 pound of beef. Make sure it's fully brown. Then drain the liquid, and you're going to add 1 packet of taco seasoning. I use Ortega, 1.25 ounces. Add it with 3/4 cup of hot water, and you're going to simmer that until it thickens for about 1 minute, then let it cool. Then you're going to take your cooled taco meat in mini wonton wrappers, add about 3/4 of a teaspoon, water the edges, and you're going to fold it. I made it into triangles. I made about 35. I like to also freeze them and just pop it in the oven when I want. Then you can fry it, but I baked it. I sprayed olive oil, put it in, then sprayed more olive oil and baked it at 375 for 20 minutes, flipping halfway. These are so good. Follow me on Instagram and TikTok for more recipes.
This year I'm celebrating Taco Bell Friendsgiving by making their crunchy taco shepherd's pie. Let's get started. Chop your bell pepper and then chop your onion. Add vegetable oil to saute pan. Add diced vegetables with a pinch of salt. Saute until soft and lightly browned. Boil potatoes with a pinch of salt. Then drain the potatoes and mash the potatoes until very smooth. Next, heat butter and milk in a saucepan until the butter is melted, and then slowly pour into the mashed potatoes and mix together well. Once mixed, stir in the shredded cheese until the cheese is melted. Season generously with 4 sauce packets and stir it up. Spread half of the mashed cheddar potatoes evenly into a baking dish. Spoon in sauteed vegetables in 2 crunchy taco shells. Lay each taco sideways into the pie baking dish and spread the other half of the mashed potatoes on top. Then bake at 350 degrees for about 30 to 40 minutes, and then it's ready to enjoy at your Friendsgiving dinner. You can find this recipe that I made on Taco Bell.
I swear this is the recipe that my brother with no taste buds asks for every single year, and we're gonna make it. The first time I had this was at my Aunt Linda's sister's house during Thanksgiving, and she absolutely killed it and gave me a couple tips. First, we're gonna be a little bougie and infuse butter with some thyme because we can, and we're also gonna use Jiffy corn mix because we love making our life easier. We're also gonna use sour cream and a can of cream corn to make things extra moist, and I'm sorry about using that word, but get over it. Once everything is well incorporated and combined like this beauty over here, pour her into a greased baking dish and bake at 350 for 40 to 50 minutes. You want her to be extra golden brown. Now, the other star of the show is the honey compound butter, the peanut butter to this woman's jelly, and she is absolutely gorgeous. Once the compound butter is done and the casserole is finished, slice her up and serve. Now, here's how we're gonna make her special. You're gonna plate her, you're gonna drizzle on some honey, and then spread on some of the compound butter. We're also gonna garnish with some thyme leaves or red pepper flakes because we can handle some spice. Now grab a fork and dive.
Want a juicy, tender, and incredibly flavorful bird? Brine it. Warm water, kosher salt. So the brine dissolves. Fill the rest with cold water. Refrigerate overnight. Dry well, set at room temperature, 45 minutes. Rosemary, sage, thyme, stuff it. They go first so they don't burn. Onions, lemon, garlic, stuff it. Zest the lemon. 4 tablespoons, room temperature, unsalted butter. Make a paste. Massage your bird with the butter. Salt, pepper. Fry the legs, pin the wings so it cooks evenly. 2 cups, chicken or turkey stock. Cover it tight, 350 degrees, 1 hour, 15 minutes. Remove, return. Baste periodically, 45 minutes. Woo! Tender, juicy.
I'm going to show you how to make the absolute easiest, laziest, best breakfast, lunch, dinner, dessert ever. I eat this every single day and it takes me about 3 minutes. So darn good. First, we go over to the cupboard and we grab ourselves a sweet potato. Then I come over to my sink, avoid my dirty dishes, and just wipe it off a little bit, kind of get off that nasty skin stuff. I put it on a paper towel and then I just start stabbing it with a knife. It should kind of look like this when it's done. It just has a little bit of holes in it, and then I cut off both ends because it's just kind of gross. Then we wrap her up in a paper towel, badly, stick it in the microwave, and then I'll do about 90 seconds on each side. You'll have a very hot potato. I cut it in half and then pretty much butter it like toast with cashew butter, and it's so...
Bacon wrap buffalo ranch chicken skewers. First, you're gonna slice open that chicken, cut it in half, pound it out, flatten it, season it with some buffalo ranch, and then wrap it up with some mozzarella, and then hit it with some bacon. That's 2 strips of bacon. You can use whatever kind of bacon you need. And then you're going to place it on 2 separate skewers, only if they're real thin. If you have a 1-inch thick skewer, you can probably use one and get away with it. Now you're gonna put it on about indirect 350 degrees. Go ahead and crisp that bacon up. Go ahead and get it to about 140. Make your sauce: buffalo, A1 butter, Worcestershire, garlic, black pepper, and paprika. Melt it down, and that's going to be your nice sauce to glaze at the end. And as you can see, the cheese is melting nice. We're probably around 140, 150. Once you hit 150, go ahead and glaze them. Let it run to 165. Pull it, cut it, and
I don't want to exaggerate, but these sugar cookie apple pie bars might be the best thing you make this Thanksgiving. First step is to peel and cube 2 small Granny Smith apples. To that we add brown sugar, cinnamon, a pinch of nutmeg, and some melted unsalted butter. Give that a good mix and now set it aside. Part 2, we whip up our cheesecake batter. First whip the cream cheese and sugar until smooth and creamy. Then add the egg and vanilla extract, mix again until smooth and creamy. Now for our crust, we're going to use sugar cookie dough. Use about 20 pieces and flatten them out in your lined pan. Then add the cheesecake mixture on top of that. Now we sprinkle on the apples and crumble up the remaining cookie dough and add that on top as well. Bake at 350 Fahrenheit for 40 to 50 minutes until it's set. Once it's chilled, slice, serve, and
These are absolutely incredible. Cajun Wet Wings. In a food processor, go in with an onion, 1 bell pepper, jalapeno with seeds, 1 whole lemon without the peel, a little oil. Now I'm going with some Creole seasoning because indeed it's great on everything. And don't be shy, we need a nice little punch of flavor. Now we're gonna toss in this mixture on the wings. And now we're gonna marinate overnight because we can't lose patience this time, unfortunately. We really need the wings to absorb the flavor. Now it's actually the next day. We're gonna pat the wings dry, season down some flour, some Cajun seasoning. Now we're gonna dip them in the flour and drop them right into the fryer. Okay, but like the crispiness is immaculate. Now to a little clarified butter, add in some Cajun, toss in your wings. Now we have final product.
My husband saw this recipe and we had to try it. I was skeptical, but it totally worked. Zucchini on parchment paper, cover with scrambled eggs, and then while that's baking, you add these simple ingredients to whatever kind of meat you prefer. We had ground beef and it was so flavorful and the house smelled amazing. I could not even wait to take a bite while the rest was cooking. And then when the eggs and zucchini come out, you want to flip it over so the zucchini's on the outside. And then you'll add a thin layer of cheese, thin layer of meat, and then you're going to roll it up and put it back in the oven for about 15 minutes. And then after it cools, you slice it, and look how gorgeous that is. It was so impressive. A little Alfredo sauce, and I was just happy as could be. Super bomb.
Alright, here's my recipe for the juiciest, most tender, oven-baked turmeric chicken. Using chicken thigh and drumstick, adding yellow onion, garlic, spices you see on the screen, lemon juice, and avocado oil. Massage your chicken and let that marinate for up to 8 hours. Transfer your chicken to an oiled baking tray. Make sure to use the diced onions and tuck the garlic cloves underneath the chicken. Add some fresh rosemary, black pepper, and it's ready to go in the oven. Cover and bake it for 1 hour. Remove the foil and then bake it for 5 minutes. Don't forget to add that delicious chicken juice right on top of the chicken at the very end. And look at that garlic, guys. It's so soft and squishy. I served this with a side of green beans and mushrooms. And for the grain, I did a mixture of basmati rice with quinoa. And look at how juicy and tender this chicken is. Literally, when I was done eating, there was no meat left on the bone.
Let's make homemade barbecue wings. Buttermilk, pickle juice. Let these sit for half an hour. For our barbecue sauce, we'll start with 1.5 cups brown sugar, 1.5 cups ketchup, half a cup of vinegar, half a cup of water, a tablespoon of Worcestershire sauce, 2 tablespoons mustard, a sprinkle of garlic powder, sprinkle of smoked paprika, dash of hot sauce, and a few tablespoons of butter. Whisk over medium heat until thickened. For our dredge, we'll add potato starch. I've said it once and I'll say it again, don't you dare be frying with flour. Garlic powder, onion powder, chili powder, smoked paprika, black truffle salt, and pepper. We'll start by frying these at 325 for about 7 minutes. Then fry another few minutes at 375 till golden brown. Now that right there is crispy. Lemon zest and that sweet, delicious barbecue sauce. Oh baby. That's just pure deliciousness right there. That's perfect barbecue.
This is my last and 5th recipe for using 1 rotisserie chicken. I had a leg quarter left and there was still some meat left on the chicken. I shredded off what I could and then I'm using the bones to make a chicken soup. Boil the chicken and add half an onion, 2 slices of ginger, and a little bit of rock sugar. I'm using chicken pho soup base, but you can use any chicken bouillon to season the soup. I normally serve this with pho noodles, but today I'm using elbow macaroni because it's easier for everybody to find. Add green onions, cilantro, lime, and hoisin and sriracha. And since I like it spicy, I'm adding my homemade chili oil and homemade pickled serranos. It's safe to say that I got my money's worth for this chicken.
Sorry I haven't been on, guys. My mom has COVID, so we've been dealing with that. So I thought I'd make her better than sex cake. She's been a widow for 30 years. She can call it whatever the hell she wants. It's just an icebox cake. So lemon cake mix, 3 eggs, cup of milk, 1/3 cup of butter melted, mixed well. Put it in a grease 13x9. Make the Jell-O package, but you're only going to do 1 cup of hot water for each package. And then poke some holes in the top of the cake. And while it's still warm but not hot, you're going to pour it over, but gently so it doesn't rip the top of the cake. So this part just takes a few minutes. And then once this is done, in the fridge for about an hour. Let's make the topping. Whipped cream, crushed pineapple, and then chunks of pineapple. Put it back on top. And then, of course, my candied nuts. I got to chop some of those up. If you haven't made them, you don't know what you're missing. Throw those back on top. It almost looks like a pineapple sundae. That's what I always thought it was. Throw on some cherries. Wait about 4 hours after it's been refrigerated. And this is to die for. Delicious. Enjoy.
Yes, sir. What's good, everybody? Today I'm going to show y'all how I do one of my favorite crock pot dishes. It's super easy, super good. You can put it in a crock pot before you go to work, and it'll be ready for you when you get home. I call this the Olive Garden chicken pasta recipe. Ooh. Let's go, baby. Go ahead and add your boneless chicken to your crock pot. Then go ahead and add you 2 cups of your Olive Garden Italian dressing. Just like this, right on top of your chicken. 1.5 cups of Parmesan cheese. Go ahead and hit it with a couple dashes of garlic powder and a couple dashes of black pepper for taste. And a little bit of parsley. Go ahead and top it off with an 8-ounce bar of Philadelphia cream cheese. Go ahead and put it on high heat for about 4.5 hours or low heat for about 6 to 8 hours. Baby, it done fell in love, y'all. 8 hours on low. And look at this, y'all. It's absolutely beautiful. Ooh, talk about
making some egg drop soup, baby. We got 1 box of chicken stock, and I also have a box of vegetable stock in there as well. Beat up some eggs like they're your stepdad, Terry. Add a little soy sauce, a little sesame oil. Get a slotted spoon and pour your eggs through. And just circle them around. Ooh, look at that. Half a tablespoon of cornstarch. Mix it with a little bit of water. We're making a slurry to thicken up the soup. Add it to your soup and cook it down. Get some wonton wrappers. Slice them up like that. Gonna deep fry them in 350 until golden brown. Crispity crunchity. Chop up some scallions. And there you go. Some homemade restaurant style.
So I had some leftover chocolate. Let's make the most chocolatey, 4 ingredients only, cookies. Freeze your chocolate. Should look like this. It should be super hard because we need to work with it. For the cookies, we only need butter, coconut sugar. I added some brown sugar, but you don't need to. Mix, 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 mix. Should look like this. Add your choice of flour. Gluten-free is highly recommended here. And should look like this. Now we add chocolate. And this is literally it. Scoop them. And we start shaping. I flatten it, put the chocolate in the middle, and close it. Because trust me, it's gonna be insane. Once it's done, should look like this. 350 oven for about 10 minutes. Stunning. Let them cool a little bit, and we put them to the test. Crack it in the middle, and oh my god.